This is a great intro. Welcome back to the Isaac Abrams Show, everybody. I'm your host, Isaac Abrams. Today's very special guest, actor, writer, producer, and now paid regular at the Comedy Store and first-time philanthropist, Zack Chapaloni.
Thank you for having me.
Please tell me I got your name right.
That is.
I've gotten 100 out of 159 names wrong.
Really?
Yeah, I get them wrong a lot.
Chapaloni's no easy feat.
And it's not.
The real spelling means big butt in Italian.
Dude, I like big Chapalonis and I cannot lie.
Yeah.
You've heard that a million times.
You know it.
On this episode, we talk about, I'm reading the list below the camera. We do a lot of questions. We riff on comedy. We do some would you rathers that are pretty awesome. And then at the end, we ask the question, what was your favorite meal ever? Zach, tell us how we can find you on social media.
Zack Chapaloni on Instagram. ZackChapaloni. We also got a show, Joke Off Live. Follow them on Instagram. It's a fun comedy competition show where we bring the best and brightest comedians to try to come up with material based on your suggestion. And we declare a winner. It's a fun time.
I'm going to be there.
Hell yeah.
If you're in LA, come to Joke Off Live. Check out their YouTube page. I had a great time. Thank you for being here. Fun. This was awesome. Look forward to doing it again. Enjoy the episode, everybody. We'll see you next time. Paid. Oh, is it out yet? Can we say paid regular? Got that out.
When does this episode come out?
Probably next week. Next
yeah,
Wednesday.
It should be fine. Yeah.
When's the announcement?
They said to send a picture, so I'm guessing it'll be this week or next week. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, man.
Dude. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited to grow. You know, it's like Willie Simon said, now you have the keys to the gym. So
right.
It's like you get to go late night and crowd's not going to be awesome, but like now you play. Now you find if you can get them to love a bit. I was just like my YouTube kind of rolled into an older Rogan and Louie episode. I think it was like maybe right after the pandemic. Like Mothership hadn't gotten rolling yet.
Yeah.
And Louie was talking about how like clubs get trendy. Like he's like, sometimes they just get so big. Now it's just happy, attractive people just like hanging out, being young. And they're having too much fun for a comedian to really find out, is this good or is this just a fun night?
Yeah.
And he's like, the real comedy happens when there's like a drunk passed out table, someone's offended, and then like a table of 4 people is just like tears laughing, you know?
Yeah.
And you're finding that like gritty kind of.
Right.
So I'm excited. I've been going up the moment I found out. And I was like, can I? Because they have fallouts at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
So you can, if you're a paid regular, you can go at the end of the night. You can go into the original room, sign up after all the people that are booked, and you can get like 8 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if there's an audience.
Yeah.
Sometimes the comic who's last, usually Don Barris, is like, I want to perform. Like, and then they kind of say, no fallouts tonight.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, in this city, to be able to have somewhere, especially like that, to go in and just kind of keep finding your voice and like honing your skill set, trying new things that you don't really have to worry too much about, because it's not like the booker's in the back like at 1 a.m. when there was 6 people you didn't kill. It's like, go play, go have fun, go experiment. It's like what Mitzi, they say, was all about. Like she let Pryor go bomb, and then those jokes end up becoming his special.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's so super awesome. I've spent a considerable amount more time at the improv than I have at the store.
Yeah.
Just because I work there as a photographer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm one of their 3 house photographers. It's Troy and Liz. Troy Conrad's and Liz Vig.
Yeah.
And I get the third call if they're both on tour.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I worked the whole Netflix festival there.
Oh, rad.
Yeah. The only show that I'll shoot at the store is Stand Up on the Spot for Jeremiah, because I've been working with Jeremiah for a long time.
Yeah.
And it still feels weird to be walking around the store with a camera.
I bet.
Because I'm saving the store for comedy. I'm only going to do comedy.
Yeah.
And it's weird to me when I see like Troy Conrad's do stand-up clips. I'm like, no, dude, you're the photographer. I mean, what are you doing?
Yes. And the store has that energy of like, am I supposed to be here? Can I stand here outside?
Yes.
And they're like, you can't stand outside.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, sorry.
I have a weird experience at the store because this January, my New Year's resolution was like, I'm just going to go to the store once a week and hang out. And during Pandy, before Emily was the booker, we did a comedy special together where she was the talent producer and I was the stage manager.
Oh, fun.
So I got to meet her, Brian Baldinger, who's the other guy that works down there? Eric Abrams was the director.
Yeah.
So I roll in there in January, and I'm just kind of standing in the hallway. I'm like, is this where the comics, is this, how do I get my name on the wall, right?
Yeah.
And Emily walks by, and she goes, oh my God, how are you? And we lean against the wall, and we talk for 30 minutes. And I'm talking like Whitney Cummings is walking by, Burt Kreischer, everybody's walking by going like, I've never seen this guy.
Yeah.
And he's got Emily's full attention right now. And I was like, yeah, we really did it.
She's cool like that.
She's the best.
She sees people,
Yeah.
you know, and it's hard. I mean, that is a job no one wants. No. That is a tough job.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys that always would sit back and think to myself, when it's my turn, they'll tell me. Mm-hmm. And that's not as common as I thought. Like, it's a lot of people going, I need to remind them it's my turn.
Right.
I need to remind them what's going on. Hey,
it's so funny.
I should be up right now.
Yeah.
It's so much of that.
I had a bunch of New York comics. I was hanging out on the patio during the Netflix festival.
Yeah.
And they were like, who's that lady? Everybody's following that lady. And I was like, that's Emily. She's the booker. And they got up. They were sitting on the wall. They got up. And I put my hand on their chest. I was like, not now, dude.
Yeah.
He was like, no, now or never. And I was like, trust me.
Find your
She'll
opening.
remember you for this and not to. And he went up anyway.
Yeah.
And he was like, Emily. She goes, not now.
Yeah.
And he just, I fucking told you, man.
There's a time.
Yeah.
You know, you got to feel it out. And not that it's wrong to be that way. I'm sure people who act that way get a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like when I would go out to bars with my friends and they would just say what's up to everyone, every woman they saw.
Right.
I'm like, I mean, dude, eventually something's
Numbers
going to
game.
happen. Yeah, to play the numbers game. I'm like, this isn't worth like all the weirdness going on tonight.
Right.
But some people are just built different. They're built to handle that, and they push and push. And, you know, on my side of things, I whenever I've gotten something, it's come with like oh, you're overdue. You should get this. I'm like, damn, I wanted to get it when it was right on time.
Right.
But
if only the universe worked that way.
Yeah.
Where a timer would go off.
Yeah.
It's time to put your name on the wall.
Yeah. Right.
The funny thing is there is a timer, and it's the perfect time.
Yeah.
It's just not our timing. It's not.
Yeah.
Like I have spent my entire comedy career, I'm going on 6 years, trying to find the shortcut.
Yeah. Right.
The back door. How do I get in with the big dogs?
We all do. Yeah.
And then if I had just spent 6 years writing and performing comedy,
yes,
we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking. Like, this is still part of my shortcut plan.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just, now I'm on the grind. Now I'm like, trying to write and get up as much as I can. But
it's a weird mental game, because when I started in San Francisco, I really wanted like to be in the community. I just wanted to like work with comedians. You know, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I assumed that's what the world was, and it's a very solitary pursuit. And at the early stages, everyone's insecure because they want something that's just around the corner, and they don't necessarily want you to know that that thing's just around the corner because they want it. That's their thing. And I started really getting down on myself because I would think, man, no one really likes me. They all like these other comics. They don't really like what I'm doing. And whenever I would just go, oh, well, that sucks, and I'd go back to doing stand-up and put my head down and just keep working, everyone would start liking it. You know, and it's like the moment you look up, you're like, oh, you like this? How cool. And they're like, all right, dude, we don't like you anymore.
Right.
It's like you have to keep your head on your paper.
yeah.
And just enjoy the important parts of it. But it's so elusive.
Dude. And my challenge now is that I'm going to start going to potluck every week.
Great.
And I've done 1 3-minute set in my whole life.
It's tough, dude.
It's
3 is
so
tough.
hard.
Yeah.
Like, this is not fair, but I got a lot of great opportunities to perform in theaters and clubs.
Yeah.
And I've rarely done less than 10 minutes.
I know.
So
I know what you mean.
How, like, the first 3 minutes is like, I'm teaching you guys who I am.
Yeah.
And then it's bam, 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 bam. So 3 minutes in front of everybody who's going like, I could be up there right now, but I didn't sign up for it.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is the scariest thought in the world.
Yeah.
To go, how can I be funny in 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And how can I get like 6 different 3-minute sets? So
Yeah.
that every time I come back, I'm saying something different.
I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think it's important to just get the laughs, get as many laughs in 3 minutes as you can. And because I see people worry about that. I used to worry about that. Everyone's so focused on their shit. They're not like, I heard that joke once before. You know, it's like you're showcasing. Yeah. When you're going to a club and they're like, all right, do your best possible tight 3. You know, it might not be your best joke. You might have like a 3-minute joke that's better than this 3, but that's not going to work in this context.
Right.
And it is laughs per minute. It is like, show them that you're a real comedian, and don't just, you know, be like, what's this guy's deal? You know, like they really don't want crowd work because they want to know that you can write jokes.
Exactly.
And be funny. And when you worry about not coming up, I think Craig Conant, when I first moved to LA, he said, don't get caught up with all these people that are trying to have a new set every time they go up, because they aren't getting those jokes better. You have to work your material, and it won't get any better. So you'll have like pages and pages of material, but none of it's there because you haven't been. I'll say a joke 100 times, and then one night I'm thinking like it's probably done. I don't need to do this, and then I have a little fun with it, and I'm like, oh my god, that was how have I done it this whole time without thinking to say this?
Yeah.
It's so funny now. And all those times it was okay, and it got an okay reaction. And I used to think, okay, that okay reaction is probably as good as it can get. But it can always get better.
Yeah. It could get worse, too.
It can get worse.
I've gotten in the mode where it's like, I don't know what city I'm in. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I just added a bitch. Like, I was describing a woman, and I was like, this bitch. And then it turns out it was a joke about a single mom. And the whole crowd turned.
Yeah. Totally.
And I'm just going, oh, this instead of, oh, this lady.
Yes.
And then I said my fucking punchline on that joke, and everybody was like,
we don't like you.
yeah, oh, she's a bitch. This single mom's a bitch. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. There's something important about earning their trust before you start messing around a little bit. And I've heard people say they'll try it. You know, sometimes they'll go be like, I want to mix the order up a little bit. And that bitch joke will go in the front, and they're like, oh, now they think I'm an asshole. Yeah. And now they're not going to like anything I say.
Right.
Whereas if I did it the original way, those initial jokes are really showcasing that like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I'm a decent guy. Like I'm obviously just joking. And now I'm getting to these other jokes, and you're along for the ride now because you like that guy that's telling that joke.
Yeah. And diving into that in 3 minutes is terrifying, but I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, you got to go for it. I was going for years, and oh my god, what's nice now is they tell people that it starts at 7. Before, when I first moved down here, they would tell people that the show starts at 8, which is when Friends and Family starts. So that first hour of open mic that you sign up for, there truly is no audience. There would be 2 tourists that hopped off like a sightseeing bus. Yeah. And they walk in.
And there's still comics in the back, right?
There's comics in the back. They're not allowed to sit. So you just have an empty, I mean, they weren't allowed to sit. They could only sit in the back corner. And the rest of the seats were empty. I'm like, please let them sit and resemble an audience. They don't have to laugh at me, but can there be bodies in these seats? And there couldn't. You had to so it would just be this dark room, people against the wall. And I remember I had the first time I came down, I was in the Bay, and I came down to sign up, and there were 2 Swedish tourists. And then the room in the back. But a lot of us had to go up and do it. So we're all kind of trying to get a laugh. And really, you're just trying to have a good show. Yeah. Whenever you focus on just having a good show, whenever I've done a festival, it's like a competition or anything like that, you get so in your head, that was good. Is my thing better than that? Maybe the crowd wants that. I have a joke that's kind of like that. But when you're we're just going to have a good show. I want to help this show be good. Yeah. You end up skyrocketing in the competition because the goal is to make their show good. Yeah. Whenever anyone invites you, it's a service. You're saying, hey, we have a show here. Can you make it good? Yeah. And you're like, oh, yeah, I think I can make it good.
Can you be part of the reason why someone wants to come back here?
Yeah.
And spend money here?
Yes. Yeah. And for me, it takes a lot of the ego out of it. Where I'm like, do they like me? I'm like, no, I'm here to help. Same thing. I took an on-camera audition class, and I act, and I would never get anything. I would never get any callbacks. And I go to this class, the guy's like, you should be getting a callback every handful of times. And I'm like, oh, I've been acting for 3 years. I've never gotten a single callback. And he said, don't go into it worrying if they like you. Yeah. They've been preparing everything for this commercial. They know the characters. They have the script. They have the locations. They have the crew. They have all the gear. The last thing they're missing is the person to play the part. And they have a problem, a big problem, and it's urgent because it's usually after the audition phase. They're starting in a couple days, especially for these commercials. And so you're the one. You should go in going, let me look at the script, let me work on it, see what I can come up with, and then you go in with the energy of I think I can solve your problem. Yeah. And that to me, it clicked, and I started getting all these callbacks because I wasn't oh, hi. Yeah. It's so nice to meet everyone.
Nervous energy.
Yeah. You're please like me. Please like. Every word I'm saying is please like me. Do you like me? You don't like me, do you? Right. And I'm like, well, now we don't.
See, that's my wheelhouse. So I came up doing commercials. I've been working on commercials for the last 20 years in LA and now all across the country because nobody shoots in LA anymore. But I can definitely relate to that energy. If I saw nervous Zach walk in, I'd be like, yeah. No, it's a sports commercial. We need confidence. We need machismo. We need a guy that comes in and doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. You really got to read the part. I see that with comedy, with comedians that I love, that are hilarious. And they go on stage, and for whatever reason, maybe there's stakes involved. Something got in their head, and now they're on stage. And they're like, anyway. Right. And I'm watching, I'm like, dude, no, what? Yeah. You're good.
I think the source of that, at least in my experience, is not being prepared.
Yeah.
If you're prepared, you have absolutely no reason to be nervous.
Yeah.
If you have an arsenal of jokes and you're like, oh, I hit them with that, they don't like this.
Yeah.
You hit them with that.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't like that either? All right, what about this one? Oh, right down the middle. That's what they like.
Yes.
And that's been the source of all of my nerves. It's
Yeah.
been like, oh, I wrote for 20 minutes before the show tonight. Let me just see if any of this shit works.
Yeah.
Didn't write any punchlines.
Yeah.
And then the times that I have bombed the hardest have been the times that I've been the least prepared.
Yeah. And prepared, I think, goes beyond jokes, too. It's like understanding what mentality you want to go up with, what thing you noticed in the room tonight. They're like, let's do this up top. Let's not jump right into material. Let's say something that kind of ties us all together, something about the last comic. You know, like if they did crowd work, we'll like make a joke about the person that they did crowd work about.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me. These are my buddies. I'm here to have a good time with them. Here are my jokes. And when I'm doing stand-up, you know, for at least the past couple years, I've learned to not really worry if a joke doesn't work, because we'll still get it. We'll still get to some good parts.
Yeah.
But whenever it's like a showcase or like the stakes are high, you know, like I did the Netflix is a joke showcase thing in the belly room. All the industry people are on one side of the room.
Just up on the shelf.
Yeah, up on the shelf. A little audience here. I'm going first. You know, the host, Luke Moniz, God bless his heart, is trying to get them energized. And ends up telling them, like, guys, you know, this is a big showcase for a lot of these people. And I was like, don't talk about the showcase.
Right.
Just let me go up.
Don't wear the band shirt to the concert.
Yeah. And I, like, blacked out. You know, it went good enough to get me in, but I'm like, this isn't stand-up. I'm like, that wasn't fun. That's not stand-up. That's something completely different.
That was the business of stand-up.
That was the business. Luke got to do stand-up. Luke got to go have fun. There were no stakes. He was already in. He did it the year before. The host is comfortable. They're doing stand-up because who cares if this joke doesn't work?
Right.
Shane Gillis, I feel like, is like very admirable in that sense where, like, even on his special, he has like the superpower of like, uh-oh, this joke's bad to you guys. And it's like funny to him. Like he completely flipped the narrative of like, oh, you're uncomfortable.
He gets off on how uncomfortable you are.
Yeah, joke's on you.
Right.
I'm having fun.
I love that energy.
Same.
And it's like when I can find that place and I'm like,
yeah.
Like I feel like that's the Tom Segura laugh where he's like, this is for me, not for you.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be funny, man.
I have to find that again.
Yeah, it's elusive.
It is.
Because you'll hone it and you're like, got it.
Yeah.
And then the beauty of stand-up, it's like, no, you don't. Watch me chop you down a little.
Right.
Like,
Oh, you think you're good?
yeah,
dude?
just you wait, dude. Just
Yeah.
you wait. Luke Schwartz put me on the on Crack 'em Up Thursdays
Oh boy.
as a cold open, as my last cold open as a door guy, and everyone's just laughing at me like, what a perfect send-off. You know, like bombed my absolute face off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, guess I needed that.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good farewell as, you know, as you go become a paid regular now. And, but it makes, you know, those nothing makes you better at stand up. I know people talk about bombing helps. It does help a lot. It does like make you question everything you've ever written. What's really funny in this notebook? But it also makes you go, well, now I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
And for me, it lasts maybe 48 hours, 3 days of like, I don't care. As long as that fresh bomb memory is in my mind, I'm like, you motherfuckers don't scare me.
Yeah.
I've bombed so bad you wouldn't believe it.
You're right.
And you're freer than you've ever been. You're just living. You're living up there. And then you start getting good again. Right. And then you start going, all right, we got it. And then you go, oh man, it's a tough room. I don't know if this is going to be as good as I can be. And it's just that cycle of like, you feel up, you get knocked down, you feel humbled, you don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
You get good.
And that's the fortunate blessing that I have of being on the road with a headliner last year was that like we did a club weekend, then a theater weekend. So if I bombed, it's early show.
Yeah.
I got late show to make up for it. Saturday nights, I got 3 shots at it. Over the course of the weekend, I got 8 shows.
Yeah.
Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a theater weekend, it's like, all right, we'll get them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like I sympathize with the LA guys that haven't been on the road yet or aren't on the road right now. Like I'm not on the road right now. And they're like, I have 1 show this month.
I know.
And I ate shit.
Yeah.
And I have to wait 30 days
Yeah.
before I get another shot at it.
Yeah.
It's just, man, it's so tough.
Yeah. I've been very grateful the past few months, I want to say year and some change maybe, where I've been getting booked more in LA, and that was like a dream of mine, to the point that like when I first moved down here I was like nothing, and I was it's a step back for anyone that was developing in their home scene, because that scene, you don't even have to ask for shows anymore. They're reminding you that their show is that week, and they're like, hey, we'd love to have you come by. You're like, sweet. And you're getting all these spots. You're not doing anything about it. And then you get to this city, they don't give a shit. LA doesn't care how funny you were back home. You might have a few ins, you know, if you really popped when you left. But for the most part, it's like no bookings. And I'd be so sad about it. I was like, yeah, it defeats you because you need to keep working on it. And it's almost like they're telling you can't go do the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And then now that when I get booked, even if it's a shitty show, I'm like, think of me when I moved down here. He'd be so stoked to do that show.
Yeah. That actually answers one of the questions that I have in... It's actually question number 1. What is something that you take for granted now that you always wanted?
Yeah.
And it's kind of almost it, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say it would be getting to perform frequently.
Which you probably don't take for granted, but it is...
I'm sure sometimes I do. It's like, I got to get to this show, then I got to go to this. But, you know, I enjoy it. You know, sometimes like the wife and I have opposite schedules. So it's like, man, I just want to hang out with you. Like I haven't seen you all in like 2 weeks because we're ships passing in the night. She's up early and home right as I'm leaving. Sometimes like 10 minutes after I leave.
Oh, wow.
So we have to be more intentional about date nights and stuff or days where we just can do nothing together. So I think sometimes I do take it a little for granted, but I love it. The one, like the Comedy Store is something I always wanted to have a home club down here. And the Improv and the Comedy Store to me were like, dude, if I can feel like this is my playground and this is my family, that would mean the world. Because I was that guy that was like, hey, I'm a comic from the band. They're like, dude, no room for you. Go wait outside. And I would just be like, okay.
Go wait outside.
Yeah, one time at the Comedy Store, the lady was like fucking with me because I went in. I'm like, I'm a comic. Can I sit in the back? She's like, we're sold out. And I was like, so do we like wait in the patio? And then it like clears up a little later. And she's like, yeah, actually, you can't even stand on the patio. You got to go stand on the sidewalk. And I was like, oh, okay. And I like walked out. Right as I walked to the sidewalk, I'm like, she's fucking with me. This sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not going to stand on this sidewalk. I'm going home tonight.
Gotta leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then coming back and seeing comics you love getting up there and seeing comics that are bad. You always run into comics that are bad when you start. And they work so hard. There are like comics that live in the scene. Every mic they're there. Every place they're there. And they're shitting on you because they're like, you've only been here like 3 days this week. Right. I'm here every day.
Right.
I've been to every mic. And that inspired me more in a way where I'm like, if this guy's out here working this hard and cannot get a laugh, I should be working at least half as hard as this.
Yes.
For the 2 laughs I'm getting. You know, like not like I'm an absolute killer, but when I'm new, I'm like, all right, well, I kind of got, you know, some people say good job, and so, you know, you can feel it out. I always feel like if people just were like, this is not for you for like years and there was no laughter, I'd be like, maybe I should try to find something else I can do. Because you're providing a service and you're giving the audience that levity that they crave in life or whatever.
Right.
And I didn't believe that was even real. I'd be at shows like, why are you people here? Because we're always in comedy. So it's like we're just inundated.
There's crowds everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Don't you have anything better to do?
This is what you want to do?
Yeah, you paid money to be here?
You know you guys can't talk to each other, right? Like you've got to be quiet and watch us.
Yeah.
And the pandemic made me, like we were doing Zoom shows and we would do this one kind of like the closest thing to a fun Zoom show I lived with Torio Van Grohl and Emily Catalano. We were in a house in North Hollywood and we would do this Zoom show and people from all over would tune in every week, watch the new stuff we're working on. We had like a fun Venmo us and we'll do a shot during our set.
Oh, nice.
And it would be like a fake, you know, like
water.
Maybe a Truly. Some people wanted a water. Yeah. And they would, the messages after the show would be like, you have no idea how bad I need this.
Yeah.
You got me through some tough times. And I'm like, what? Yeah. But you don't realize because you have it. You're in the world. That's something something I take for granted that I always wanted is I feel like I have a community here now for the first time ever. And just like I was telling you when I started, I wanted that community. It's such a solitary pursuit. And it's not like I have people that like, we do everything together every day.
Right.
Because we're all out on our own trying to figure our shit out and be somebody in this world, in this industry. But I feel like I have a community of people that I like. I respect the work they do. I think they're like killing it in their respective fields and we're friends. And it's not like a weird, like, networking hangout when I see them. It's
Right.
just we enjoy each other's company. And
Yeah.
young me always wanted that. And I never had that.
You know, I thought about that during the Netflix festival because I was going to the store after the improv. I worked the improv every night.
Yeah.
15 nights in a row.
Yeah.
And I would go to the store because that's where the hang was. But I knew there was a back room.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I probably made somebody uncomfortable, I could probably get in the back room. And I got invited a couple of times, and I was like, I put restrictions on myself.
Sure.
But I was standing on the patio, and I was talking to Cole, I think. And I kept looking over his shoulder, and I was like, I'm not looking for someone more important than you.
Yeah.
I fucking spatial awareness thing. Like,
Same. I get that too.
I don't want you to think that I'm trying to leave this conversation.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's Bert Kreischer. Like,
Yeah.
that's just, it's a fan in me. I'm a fan of comedy.
Yeah.
And it's hard, like, I'm listening to you, I'm engaged in this conversation, but I also listen to Bert's podcast, and I just want to look at him for just a second.
And you're talking to me with a background that's like flashing lights and people walking by and being loud and saying, you're naturally just like, what's going on over there? It's like you're at a music festival. You're just taking in the scenery. I have the same problem where like my wife has like grabbed me by the hand at some like comedy party. She's like, you need to talk to the people that are talking to you. I'm like, oh, I wasn't even. She's like, well, it looks that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm just taking in the scenery while I talk, but I'm bad at that, and I need to get better. And I'm not the type of person that's like, where's the next leg up? I'm trying to get to that next leg up.
Yeah, I thought for a while I was intentionally having door guys on the show. Mm-hmm. Because this is episode 159. This is going to be out next week. It's out to you now. It's whatever. But it just turns out that those were the comics that I was running into.
Yeah.
But then when I would go to the store, like the people checking IDs or whatever, not necessarily door people, they have the red shirts. I don't know what security.
Yeah.
Don't know any of those.
Sure.
But the greatest feeling in the world is standing there and having a door guy walk up and be like, oh, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good are the best two words you can hear at a comedy club from someone walking from the inside. When you're trying to get in, you're like, I'm good.
Dude, it's so nice. And working there taught me some very rudimentary etiquette at clubs, which I never realized. Mm-hmm. But when you walk into a club and there's someone at the door looking like they're not sure if you're allowed in, you introduce yourself. You tell them you're on the show and just wondering, where the green room is or where can I go, or just introduce yourself and tell them you're on the show. And sometimes they might grab the walkie-talkie and be like, just hold on 1 second. And they got to verify. Mm-hmm. The amount of people that are like, dude, I walked straight up, started making my way to the green room. People were pressing me like, who are you? And I don't know, you get like, I just saw some guy I've never heard of do like, call it racism. And I was like, dude, these people, who are you?
Yeah.
Do you really think you're that big of a deal? Do you think these stoner idiots that work at comedy clubs, myself included, mm-hmm. are getting like a debriefing every night before a show? It's like, this is their YouTube channel. This is their name. They're going to be going third. They're getting a guest set. Like, no, just walk up and be like, hey, I'm da-da-da. I was hoping to go to the green room. You feel free to check. Like, I'm friends with them. You can ask them. They have to protect the comedians too. Yeah. And they get yelled at if someone that swears they're a friend of this person walks to the back mm-hmm. and is like, hey man, I just wanted to hang out before the show. Like, don't hang out before the fucking show. Mm-mm. Let them focus on the show.
Don't ever talk to a comedian before they go up.
Yeah. Let them.
The only time that situation gets annoying for me is if you're walking into a theater or a club with the headliner and someone doesn't recognize the headliner. Yeah. They're the person who sold the tickets.
Yeah, that is it.
Their face is on the thing.
Especially if the numbers are good.
Yeah.
It's one thing if I'm the headliner and they don't recognize me and there's like ticket sales are like 30. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to know me. Right. I might not be allowed back here next year.
But every headliner that I've walked in, I got offended for them. And they'd be like, no, it's cool, man. Hey, what's good? My name is...
Yeah.
And, it's just that thing that comes with having done 1,000 million shows.
Yeah.
And like, it's okay. I sold the tickets. I'm going to get a check whether you recognize me or not.
Yes.
The fans are going to recognize me. And like that level of zen is like, oh, yeah, I want to get to that.
Yeah. And as much as people don't pay attention, I do when I worked at the store, I would look at what the shows are. Mm-hmm. I'd see the big name on the flyer. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm working this tonight. Yeah. You're just curious. But I have heard some people defend like the small town club where it is kind of just a job for a lot of people. Yeah. And they're not like, I'm going to be, they're just like, I'll work at this comedy club. Seems fun. Mm-hmm. With no ambition of becoming a comedian or anything.
It's free booze and free food.
Yeah. You're working at a cool bar that celebrities come to once in a while. You have one favorite comedian, but you never heard of the rest. I mean, how common is that?
It's very.
People ask, what's good in here? I'm like, who do you like, man?
Yeah.
Go look at the lineup. Dude. If there's a name because some people have like the most eclectic. Mm-hmm. I saw like a Turkish guy who could like barely speak English, and he came up to me on the patio. He's like, Brent Morin. is here? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? I'm looking at his passport like, you know Brent Morin's like, not a knock on Brent Morin, but like, this guy seemed like he could barely speak English.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, if you liked me, I'd be like, what part do you like?
Yeah.
You know,
it seems like Brent's crowd,
my
though.
facial expression. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's just got all Turkish fans.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be funny. Brent walks out. He's like, dude, I thought you were a bot all these years. You're flesh and blood.
Turkish guy 7474. Holy shit, you're here.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna go to another question on the board.
Let's do it.
Well, we kind of covered this also, just through natural conversation. But what does making it, in quotes, what does making it in comedy look like to you?
Well, it's constantly changing. Making it originally to me was if I could pay rent and eat and live with just comedy and entertainment money, I made it.
Right.
Now I'm like, that's.
Is it a goalpost that constantly moves? Like,
It is,
You get to a plateau, you see a higher mountain.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm kind of doing that now. And I'm like, well, this isn't the mountaintop. You know, there's more mountain up ahead. I would love to. I mean, making it to me would be touring, sold out shows, merch just moving. Theaters, I think.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like arenas, you know, if the sky's really the limit, but that doesn't really feel like stand up to me. Like obviously if I had an arena weekend, let's dabble.
Let's go.
Let's taste what that feels like. But I feel like I could be like, this is different. You know, I wouldn't say no to it, but I'd be like, I like seeing faces.
Yeah.
You know, I like performing. Even some comedy clubs are so big and spread out. I'm like, I don't even know why jokes fell flat.
Yeah.
Were people distracted? Were they like, what was going on out there?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done like a sold out theater. I have a really bad memory. But if I could tour and headline like that, and then, you know, honestly act and write and create my own like comedy on that sort of level platform, be it whether it's sketch or like an original series, you know, like if there was an SNL type of situation, all that to me, that would be making movies.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of like a dying art form now. I mean,
Oh, no, it's not dying. It's just not in LA. They don't shoot here anymore.
yeah, I've heard they're coming back. Someone was telling me that like they're doing the tax breaks here again now, so that might start rolling in.
You got a $500 million incentive that doesn't match Atlanta. It doesn't even come close.
Yeah, so, I mean Atlanta's Atlanta now, but like
and they just built. Netflix just spent $750 million in New Mexico. We could get into a whole side branch.
My brothers
of
worked in film in New Orleans for years, and that was where like everything that looked Southern was shot in New Orleans.
Right after Katrina.
Yeah,
because I lived in North Carolina when Katrina hit.
Okay,
we have 13 stages. Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, they all shot there.
Yeah,
Katrina hit. Everybody went to New Orleans.
Yep.
Some stuff went back to North Carolina, and then the person who bought Pinewood Stages, which is the big place in Atlanta, it's the owner of Chick-fil-A.
Oh, wow.
His best friend was the governor of North Carolina.
Damn.
The film incentive magically went away in North Carolina.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Everything is about who you know.
Yeah, but it does shift.
Yes.
So, I mean, I am an optimist. I'm hoping it shifts again.
But for what we do, for what can launch you into that world, for the sketch world, for the privately funded and shot sketches. I'm writing a sketch series right now. I think everybody is. But we all have access to all of this shit now. So the generation before us was like, wait a minute, you have a 6K camera? And you can edit on your laptop? Like that was unheard of before. You'd have to shoot on film. You have to wash the film. You have to go get a $2,500 an hour editor.
Like multi-million-dollar budget.
And if you want to strip it all the way down, you can shoot it on your phone. You can cut it on your phone.
I know. It's more doable than ever. And what I mean by like the movie stuff's gone away is like growing up, like Wedding Crashers and Old School. Like I always wanted to have a bit part on something where I was like the funny guy, kind of like the Patton Oswalt route where he was on like King of Queens. And it was a hilarious sitcom. And then he would tour and sell out because it's the guy from King of Queens.
Exactly.
And I had heard he famously did not vibe super well with the mass middle America King of Queens crowd, but he whittled them down to, because his fans were in there somewhere. So he kind of shaved it down, and you know, people who kind of loved alt comedy and that like his whole era of comedy coming up, comedians of comedy, now they adore him. They adore him, and they're into his work.
Yeah.
And Jimmy O Yang is another great example. He had been
perfect.
toiling in the stand-up world here, running an open mic at Hooters, you know, working at like a club in San Diego. I don't even remember what club, but it like wasn't a big one. And, you know, he looks back on it fondly. But I'm sure when he was in the moment, he's like, I just want to make it, dude. I just want to be able to do comedy. And then Silicon Valley comes along, and now he's like fucking everything. He's like GQ, like and he's the man. I know Jimmy. He's a really cool guy, really friendly, supportive comic, and really a comic. And that was always my dream is where you could make it on one of those shows or one of those movies, and then you're touring. You see a lot of people do this nowadays where they're famous now. Now they want to do stand-up.
Right.
And the added bonus is like, oh, I've been doing stand-up. So when you come to my show, it's actually like good. Like I'm not trying an hour of new material.
Right.
Like I have stuff. I saw Billy Gardell at a show in San Francisco. He was in the audience. I was opening for Josh Johnson. And Josh Johnson, he used to write for The Daily Show.
It's just,
he's in LA now.
That look that you saw was like, that's my brother-in-law's name.
Oh, funny.
I was like,
damn,
okay.
Josh is doing well. I should call Josh.
Yeah. I need to call my brother-in-law.
Yeah. And Billy Gardell's son was like a fan of his podcast and was in town moving into college in San Francisco. So Billy Gardell was there, and I was like, all right, let's go to this show. And I told him, like, dude, you have my dream job. Like, you get to be on all these sitcoms, you know, you like pull into the lot. Like, touring and stand-up is fun, but people do get tired of like life on the road.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rougher than you think.
Yeah. And people also hate acting. You're just waiting around all day to do like 10 minutes of things, and then you're back to waiting. But
what better time to write stand up when you're sitting in your Hollywood trailer on the lot?
Yeah, totally. It's a lot of sitting around and waiting. And depending on your writing style, sometimes you need to like go out and get coffee, and you know, all your jokes can't just be about sitting in the lot at a studio. It's not very relatable.
You guys ever sitting in your Hollywood trailer on the WB lot?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
someone parks right up against it, and you're just fuming, right?
Where is my Mercedes?
You have 4 assistants. None of them are around.
I need a latte fucking now. I ran into that when I first started having to do a bunch of time. I started as a storyteller, and all of my stories were about running into celebrities on set.
Yeah.
And it became the most unrelatable shit in LA. No one wanted to hear it. You take it to Omaha, you tell a story about the time you told The Rock you could smell what he was cooking.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, they're falling out of their seats. And it's like, it's great to tell Hollywood stories in Omaha.
Yeah.
But then I got to write a new set for LA.
Yeah.
I have a Hollywood comedy set for here, and I can go tell stories to people who've never been on set back home.
And stories are great. I started with storytelling. Like longer bits were my jam, and then I moved down here, and you don't have time. They're like, you have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it made me write. It was easy for me to go like, this town sucks. I don't want to do this. But part of you goes, let me show you and myself that I can play this game. And I'm going to write short jokes. And I would have never had them if I stayed home. Right. But I used to try and like tell my 5-minute basketball story really quick. Yes. And it's not funny.
No.
You don't even allow them time to laugh. It feels like you just did a one-man show.
Yeah.
Because there's no breaks. There's no time for reaction.
The last time I did 3, I tried to shove 2 4-minute stories into one.
Oh, God.
And I was like, there's like the Micro Machines commercials from the late 90s. I was like, why are you laughing?
Yeah. I would always feel like at the end of those sets, the whole audience every time is like gripping their seat like, Jesus Christ, man, are you okay?
I'm like, ta-da! And they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, it was Kenny Webber's old club, the Rec Room down in Huntington Beach.
Oh, I've heard about that place. I never went.
It's closed.
Yeah, okay, yeah. People used to rave about it, though.
Oh, it was an amazing club. Yeah. Kenny ran it really, really well. But it was one of those shows where like he would bring in like a porn star to be the judge, and then another comedian, and then if you could get set of the night, and then you'd get a spot on the show. And I was just
cool.
like, I got this shit. Yeah, I'm going to cram 7 minutes into 3.
Yeah.
They're going to love it. They're going to get extra stuff.
Totally. You know how many laughs I get in that 7-minute set? Just wait. It's going to be all those laughs in 3 minutes.
Not even going to breathe. This is going to be great.
Yeah. It's a good skill set to have. And, but it also, like, you need to punch them up always.
Yeah.
There's always a window where there's a new joke. And, my writing style is more like, try it, fail. The pressure of being on stage sometimes will make you like come up with it. Like I would always write an idea that kind of sucked and then go to an open mic and be like, as it's leaving my mouth, I'm like, gotta say it funny style. Or the pressure of being like, you're up in 2 and you're just looking at your note like, fuck, I wrote this thing and I don't know what to fucking say.
Yeah.
Should I not do the joke? No, we should do the joke. And it's like, right, well, let's see if we can get there. Yeah.
Good cop, back up. Good angel, bad angel. Yeah. That's the problem I'm having with the 3-minute thing that we've been talking about is like there's no middle cushion, right? Like in a 10-minute set, you get into 3-4 minutes of didn't this bathwater feel good on your body? And then you're like, hey, here's some new shit. Like, I wrote this at breakfast.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, check this out. And you slap them with your closer and you're like, yeah, that's how comedy's done there, fella.
Yes.
And there's no room for that in
There's
3.
no
You
room.
can't try something new. It's all new. It's like,
So you really got to leave it. You got to leave all that stuff. You can't do any of it.
yeah.
Or pour through it and like sift and find out if there's something that you get out in a few words that always gets a laugh, and then be like, well, that'll go in the 3-minute set. And then you build around that. Having to do 5-minute cold opens as a door guy is a new thing, and it sucks sometimes because people aren't even seated. Servers are talking at max volume. What can I get you, dear? And if you ever need any help, you just let me know, okay? And I'm like, the show has started. I'm on stage right now. And you find ways to just grab attention. And people used to tell me that at Mike's back in the Bay Area. Like, they're like, dude, you have like good long bits, but you don't really have stuff that like grabs our attention up front. And I would at first kind of be like, all right, fuck you, man. Like,
I know what I'm doing.
I'll keep the note if I have good bits, and I'll leave the rest. That's actual advice. Given like the one guy that did tell me that one time at a mic, he went outside to smoke heroin.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't need to trust you. But he
Keep
could
your
be right.
heroin opinions to yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe he sees the universe in a whole new way when he's high on heroin.
Yeah. I mean, it's another pair of eyes, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
As he's unfolding his cardboard box that says anything helps. He's
get
like,
heroin.
man, I've noticed you need to yeah.
Listen, that last joke. Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, but Billy Gardell, I saw him and I said, I said, you have my dream job. And he's like, man, times have changed. You got to pick another thing, dude. This one's gone.
Shit.
This one's gone. And I was like, you're right. Like, we don't watch sitcoms like we used to.
No.
You know, and he found his, you know, it wasn't like he was, it didn't feel like he was being rude. It felt like he was being, it was a very loving, like it was a friend. He came up to us and said, you guys were fantastic. Like you, and then I just went, man, dude, I want to be like you someday, you know? And he was like, dude, you might have to find another like line of work. I don't know if that one's going to be there. Something like that.
Yeah.
And you really do have to adjust because that Will Ferrell movie craze is over. You know, it's fun to have him. I mean, well, he's hilarious, but we're not lining up at theaters and then talking the next day about it's so good when it hits your lips. Like, you know, those little lines, like it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because like that's the thing that catapults you to headlining. Like you can be the funniest feature on the planet.
Yeah.
But if nobody knows who you are and you can't sell tickets.
Yeah.
So you have to get on TV.
Yeah.
And even if it's late night.
Yeah.
And even late night doesn't move the needle like it used to.
Not like podcasts.
Or you have.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like the big podcasts, you get on those
Oh, you mean as a guest on a big podcast?
as a guest on a big podcast.
Yeah.
Like if you do Rogan, and if there's a late night booking that night, you're like, fuck late night.
Right.
Get me on Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. The Rogan pop is real.
Yeah, it's the Midas touch.
Yeah.
And you know, kill Tony now.
Dude, that's a whole nother thing.
I know.
I
know.
It's
I know, because I think the one main one is Cam Patterson. That's the one that everyone in comedy seems to know. This guy gets it. He's touring as a headliner, and he understands he's green. And he's like, this happens a lot in comedy where you blow up young and everyone wanted it, but you don't realize what comes with it. It's like now you're playing catch up. Now these people that are coming to see you do an hour want to be entertained.
for an hour.
For an hour by you. Not your openers. And so you have to deliver. And I know comedians, well, that didn't blow up in the Cam Patterson sense, but in their own right, where the industry has kind of like anointed them really quick. And then they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is what I always wanted, but I didn't realize what you got to do now.
Yeah. Can I do 30 and like 15 worth of crowd work?
Yeah.
And then just bring one of my famous friends with me?
Yeah, right.
Which is what I'm totally going to do if I accidentally blow up overnight.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It'll just be me and Jack Nicholson hanging up there. Dude.
It's the Zack and Jack show.
He's asleep.
Yeah. I'm just off on I'm still on stage, but I'm not saying anything. I'm like, it's funny, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we weekend at Bernie's.
I just do like a rotational bumping mics where I'm still on stage when the feature's up in the guest set. Cool. I think we got maybe like 10 or 15 left, so I'm going to hit you with a couple of random questions.
Okay.
We'll do like a little bit of a speed round.
Sure.
So we can get through a couple of these. What fictional character in movies or television do you think would make for the best president right now?
Fictional character in a movie or television.
Like they didn't have to play a president, but like someone that you could think of like a character or an actor that you'd be like, oh, I think that guy could be a great president right now.
Yeah. I would. Oh man. I'm gonna go with the Bear.
The Bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want him firing fucking bills through that thing.
Dude.
I want him coming out of the receipt printer.
The Bear.
The food ticket.
The Emmys were last night, so that's how you know how we record, what day we recorded this. My girlfriend had it on this morning, and they're like, in comedy with 31 Emmy nominations, The Bear. I was in the kitchen. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the opening speech, they were like,
I didn't see it.
Okay, can I ruin it for you?
Yeah, please.
So Eugene Levy and his son both hosted.
Yeah.
And when they were mentioning the comedy category, and they were like, I'm going to butcher this, but the essence of it was the Bears, nominated 31 times or whatever, and just like the Bear, in our opening speech, we're not going to have any jokes. Because the Bears, I don't think the Bear's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's funny in the sense that like chaos and family traumas are like resurfacing, and you kind of laugh at your own like shitty experiences.
Yeah.
But
the creator of the show gives it the comedic relief.
Yeah.
The big chef guy who's actually a real chef.
Yeah. What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember.
I know. I love him.
Me too.
Matty Matheson.
Matty Matheson.
Yeah.
I wish he would do stand up.
Yeah, he'd be great.
So funny. But and then maybe the cousin is funny.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is like nail biting.
Yeah.
I just don't think it should be in a comedy category.
No. Yeah, it's like those two characters, but I don't know.
The Bear's just on the White House lawn, just smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fire that.
Yeah, cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, cousin's got to be VP.
Cousin's the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
Build the wall.
It would get done, but there'd be like so much blood on their hands, and I feel like that's what you need in a president.
Yeah.
They can't leave unscathed.
What is your favorite movie that you don't like to admit that you like?
My favorite movie that I don't like to admit I like.
Which means you obviously don't have to admit it here either, but do you have a movie that's like a secret pleasure where you're like, I really like that movie, but I'm not going to tell anybody, like Harry Potter or something?
Prince of Egypt.
Okay.
It was like a fucking experience when I saw it as a kid in theaters, and it just like gives me chills. Like the score, the cast. The cast is actually insane.
Yeah.
It's like Ralph Fiennes, whatever Fiennes it was, and God, I'm blanking on everyone else now. But the cast was legit, and like Mariah Carey did like a duet with, I want to say like Whitney Houston or someone. It was like dude. They spent so much money, and then the cartoon just looks kind of whatever. But that movie like gives me chills, and I'm like, dude, I think I'm the next prophet. It's about Moses,
right?
And I'm like, yeah, man.
That's it.
I think I got to be God's messenger too. It's like the best propaganda ever.
Where can I get a burning bush?
Yeah, I left being like, dude, I got to keep my eyes peeled. The signs are all around me. I'm going to have to walk away from my family and just turn my back on them and then threaten them with 9 plagues if I feel it, if God's telling me that.
Do you want some locusts, Mom?
Yeah.
I need an extra cookie tonight.
Yeah. Prince of Egypt, fire movie.
That was, for me, that was Blade.
Blade.
The original Blade.
But why don't you want to tell people?
Because it's kind of cringe when it came out, and I wasn't a fan of Blade, the character. I was a fan of the bad guy.
Stephen Dorff?
Yes. And I started buying button-up shirts.
Oh, damn.
I was walking around like, yeah, I got this.
Oh, that's funny.
It was real embarrassing.
Yeah, that's funny. I loved Blade.
Oh, it's great.
But I missed the cringe because I was just like, dude, Blade's the shit.
Yeah.
Maybe people thought I was being ironic, but I was like, no,
2 and 3 sucked.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a 4.
Is there?
They just announced it at Comic-Con.
Whoa.
And if they didn't announce it at Comic-Con, I'm going to have to cut that part out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Comic-Con happened yet. I think it did.
I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's out.
It is, and it's out. That was good. Blade was fun, man. Blade was bad at Daywalker.
Yeah. And they had the sword and
yeah.
Don't touch my sword.
Oh, dude. When he walked
awesome.
into that nightclub rave, that opening scene.
Oh, yeah.
And the fucking razor wire he like pulled out and like or the chicken whatever and
dude,
like, cut some heads off.
Based on movies growing up, I'm probably a little bit older than you. I'm 45. I'm about to be 45. I thought that when you became an adult or able to drive, empty warehouses at night just turned into like clubs where you could dance and do ecstasy.
Yeah.
And like never seen one in real life.
I've been to an afters, and when I was in that place, I was like, I thought this was a fake thing from TV. They're out there.
Really?
And when you go to real ones that are like awesome, you're like, holy shit. They weren't making it up. The movies were telling a true tale. It feels like you found like the fountain of youth where you're like,
yeah,
it does exist.
I've been to one in LA that's right off of a main street, and it's a glass window, but it's painted like a decal with muffler parts, and it says like Larry's Mufflers or whatever. And there's no garage door to pull a car in to fix it or nothing. It's just in the corner of a strip mall. And I walked in there at 3:00, paid $5 to get in, and I was like, oh, I want to leave now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a big warehouse like you see downtown or like
Yeah.
you see in the movies or anything.
Dude, the one I went to was insanely sick. It was like you walk in and there's pool tables, there's a bar. It almost feels like you're in a barn. It's like Western theme somehow. Big dance floor. Everyone's like nice and like attractive and like real people, which I didn't think would happen at those places.
Yeah.
At that hour, I think real people are in bed by then. But these were cool people.
And it was just a pop up. It was like a one night.
I don't know. I didn't know the people. I like knew someone who knew the people, and I haven't been since. I don't know if it's still there. But I was looking around at like the pool game, and people kind of dressed like Joshua Tree-ish, almost like vaguely cowboy. And I'm like, this is something from Sons of Anarchy where they're like, hey, we got to have a meeting in the back.
Right.
It's like, sorry, sweetheart. And they like leave some dime piece at the bar. And I'm like, I was like, it's real.
Yeah.
I thought it was like it looked like something from a cheesy TV show.
Right.
About like the underbelly of society.
The Russian mafia is running it.
Yeah.
Is there really a Russian mafia? I guess so.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Igor. I'm with the Russian mafia. How's your experience tonight?
Very good, very good. And then everybody that's there is Russian, and you're the only English person.
Yeah. He's like, could you fill out a quick survey?
Could you drop us a Yelp review? That's so funny, dude. Is there a hobby that you won't try because you might like it too much?
Because I might like it too much.
Skydiving, like anything extreme. Like,
Yeah, I don't fear liking heights stuff too much. I'm pretty terrified of heights. Maybe golf.
Okay.
I feel like I could get like addicted to the golfing lifestyle just because it's like Sundays or whatever. Any day you find with the boys and you're drinking, you walked a bunch, or you drove a cart around, you're having fun.
It's legal drunk driving.
It's legal drunk driving. You're getting vitamin D, and you feel like you did something today. Like you're a little sore.
Yeah.
Because you're swinging all the time.
And you don't have to be the best guy as long as you're not the worst guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's golf for that too. There's best ball. So like me and you could both hit a ball.
Yes.
We go to the best one. We both hit from there.
And then the best one wins. Yeah. I could see myself getting hooked on that, and it's expensive.
That's the problem.
So I fear getting hooked on that,
Yeah.
and then wasting all my days doing that.
Before I had any hobbies like podcasting or woodworking or anything, it was all golf. Tuesdays
Yeah.
and Thursdays, I'd golf with my buddies because we were all freelance.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we don't want to play the public course on a Sunday, man. It's packed. So we'll go at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, sail through it.
Oh, dude, I have so many friends that sneak in golf days, and they're like, dude, we just got into this club. It's gonna be fucking expensive, but I am so excited.
Yeah.
They're just like blowing money on clubs and on these like, I don't know what you call it, like the entrance fees or whatever.
Greens fees, yeah.
Yeah, greens fees. It's like
Yeah.
crazy.
And then you hear about the headliners that don't drink. They always fly with their clubs. They're like, yeah, I got all day to
Yeah.
kill. I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah.
You're not hungover all day sitting in a dark hotel room wanting to kill yourself.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I'm afraid I would fall in love with that for sure.
You probably could. Have you ever run from the cops?
When I was a kid, yeah, like like throwing eggs at a car. Nothing crazy.
I don't expect you to reveal your like most
Dark
allegedly bad story.
One night I was out with friends and we were just like goofing off, like smoking weed or something. We like snuck out of his parents' house. I think we were like 13 or something, maybe 14. And we were on the street and this car drove by slowly and we like hid behind, like very badly, like not a good job of hiding. And it was this like old beat up Mercedes and the two dudes were wearing like ski masks. And they slowly drove past us, and then they got to the bottom of the hill, and like I think they realized we were there, and they turned around, started speeding back up the hill, and we would run like 20 feet, and then dive behind a car, and they would slow down and drive by us, and it like they kept trying, but the adrenaline was pumping that we eventually got to a point where we didn't know where to hide, and there was like an open garage that like a neighbor had left, and we went in their garage and just like stood there. We didn't know these people, and then the car slowly kept stopping and pulling out, and we got back to his house. dodging them every time narrowly. And we're like, whew. And then like the next day we're like, that was actually terrifying.
Yeah. Meanwhile, those guys saw you every time. They're like, we're really fucking with these kids.
Yeah, give me the ski mask.
Hey, man, turn around one more time. I don't think they saw us and stuff. Yeah, let's get them. That one kid pissed himself. That's great.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's hit you with one more, and then I got some would you rathers, and then we'll get you out of here.
Okay.
Who do you like to argue with the most?
Who do I like to argue with the most?
Like, it's never mean-spirited, but it's just like either a sports debate with your best friend, or like you like to argue with your wife about food, or like there's one thing that you always just like to argue with about.
Yeah, I don't I wouldn't say I'm big on the whole like arguing type of like energy, but I do have friends that initiate that stuff. I think Matt Lockwood,
Okay.
he very much likes to rank random things, just like best Chinese food entree or like something, best song. And you know, it's like the most subjective thing, and I'll slip into it because it's fun, and then trying to make that point.
And there's no stakes.
There's no stakes.
Because
We're just
if you don't
shouting
agree
at
with
each
him,
other.
he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're just shouting at each other. So, and it's also something that I don't get too attached to. Like, I love the 49ers. And when I argue with people about sports and they really start like picking apart the team that I love and like calling everyone mediocre, I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
I'm out.
This hurts.
Yeah. That hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
Nice. Incidentally, the bar in my neighborhood in Playa del Rey is a 49ers bar.
Really? What's it called?
Yeah, Prince of Wales.
Okay. I got to check it out.
Yeah, let me know. I live next door.
Hell yeah.
Great. I just told everybody where I live. So these are would you rathers, right? So would you rather do, you know what would you rathers are, right? And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't matter. We might not do all of them. But I think I know the answer to the first one. Would you rather have unlimited first class airline tickets or never pay for food at restaurants?
Ooh. I'm going to go unlimited first class airline tickets.
Same.
Yeah.
How much money would that save you on tour?
I've never even gotten to experience it, and we just got a new credit card because we're trying to like bump the points all the way up to get that like free first class type of thing, or at least like super discounted.
What airline?
I don't know what the airline is, but it's like through Capital One. I don't know.
Okay.
I got the Alaska one, but I never. My wife bumped me up one time as like a fun surprise. It's a really good gift if you have like your significant other, your friends like booking info, or you're like someone you're working for. You're like, hey, dude, check that ticket.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
TSA
You're already at the airport.
Yeah.
But it's a lifestyle I've always wanted. I see it all on my social media. You know, those like videos where they're on like air, like the Emirates and like Singapore Air, where it's like you have a full on living room.
Are you on a train?
Yeah, I'm going to my home gym.
Yeah, my whole thing when I travel is the lounge.
I haven't done the lounge yet either.
The food is worse than what we had in 8th grade cafeteria. I mean, it's like buffet shit.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's unlimited free booze and alcohol, which is great if you like to drink before you fly.
Yeah.
Like I just took, I went to Mexico with my lady last week. And on the way in, I'm like, babe, we're going to the airport a little early.
Yeah.
She's like, why? I'm like, you'll see. We stopped by the lounge. I'm like, 2 for the lounge, please.
Yeah.
And then the lady's like, you only get 2 guest passes a year. I'm like, have I used any? They're like, nope. I was like, I'm bringing the old bag in. She's like, wow, we're going to the lounge. I was like, don't get excited. It's breakfast. And it's like powdered eggs. It's like the shit at a Holiday Inn continental breakfast.
Yeah. It's what free food sounds like.
Yes, but you don't have to wait with everyone else.
Yeah.
And you're just there.
A little more roomy.
Yeah. When I'm traveling alone, I like to time it so that I get out of the Uber into the airport and land at the gate the minute I'm walking onto the plane. I don't like to stop.
Yeah.
I play a little game of, am I going to miss my flight?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I get to the gate right away and I just hang out there, but I've never done the lounge thing, and people go, even if you got to pay, if you're hungry and you want to drink, you're paying for it with that ticket, the entrance, because some of them you can pay like, I think it's like $60 or something like that.
You can if you have the right credit card.
Okay.
So the best card to get for any travel experience is the American Express card that lets you in the American Express lounge.
You're right.
Their food is legit.
Oh.
Because they have platinum card members and they have business card members and black cards. And all that shit's great. And there are more American Express lounges than there are, like, Delta doesn't have a lounge in Tulsa.
Right.
Or American Airlines doesn't have a lounge in Reno.
Yeah.
But there's an American Express lounge everywhere.
Yeah.
And I have an American Express card, but it's only for Delta, and I have to be flying Delta.
Oh yeah, I was deep on the Reddits about these credit cards, and there's so many pros or cons. You like go dizzy, dude.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, now I'm looking up what airports I go to most and what their lounge situation is. You know, and I'm like, this is too much. Like, just
it's fancy.
Give me a general perk.
Yeah.
Give me a Key to the city.
Right.
I want a credit card that just lets me in.
Right. Here, I own Dallas, Texas now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've never been to Dallas. But I totally agree. I think a lot of people that would be foodies would like the restaurant thing, especially if it's like, 5-star or 3-star Michelin restaurants or whatever. But
yeah.
How often are you getting?
I know. I consider myself a foodie, but when I see a Michelin star now, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
What did I just win the lottery?
Yeah. Who's paying for it?
Yeah.
Would you rather have World War III or a zombie apocalypse?
Zombies terrify me.
Really?
Yeah. I used to play that Call of Duty where like you just got to keep fighting the zombies. That shit would like genuinely scare me. And I'm like probably 20s, in my 20s at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like stoned with my friends. I'm like, dude, I don't like it. They're at the gate. Like we got to go.
We just got to turn it off.
Yeah. And they seem like they smell. You never hear people talk about the smell.
You don't, but at least even if they all still have some clothing on for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is just probably standards and practices. They can't show like
Yeah,
zombie
right,
tits.
right.
But you're right. They've got to stink.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
dead
like
brains.
rotting flesh.
Scientifically, it can't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
World War III is a real possibility.
World War III is real, but like you get like all quiet on the Western Front, actually, or like one of those moments where it's like it's Christmas and now like me and the ops are just like exchanging stew. You know, you're not doing that with zombies.
No.
Zombies, it's war all the time.
Yeah.
You have brains.
It's
They need
you
brains.
against the zombies. And then can you trust the other people who aren't zombies yet?
They might sell you up the river. Yeah.
I watched Walking Dead till the 9th season.
Yeah. And it started just kind of becoming a play. Did you ever just watch it and some scenes just feel like a play? Like we've been in this kitchen for 40 minutes.
Why? Oh, yeah. Why is this monologue still
Someone's
going?
just fanning himself in the corner. He's like, hot summer today. I'm like,
Let me get some more of that sweet tea.
sassafras.
Yeah, they just magically built a neighborhood with solar that works exactly like, and they have unlimited water, and it jumped the shark for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't really know if I want to just be like stuck with people like that. World War III, one country wins, and then we just become that country.
Yeah, or they become us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't feel, there won't be any fighting here.
Yeah.
There will never be fighting on American soil.
You know, people talk about, they're like, oh, this generation's not ready for war. Can you imagine sending your little bitch son, they, them, who's just online all day into war? Like, we're you know, especially when people talk about like a civil war, they're not going to do shit. And I always think, like, have you seen how drones work now? Yeah. They're going to be like fucking overthrowing a government like they're just taught you how to fix your airdrop.
Yeah, we're going to take that kid out of his basement, and we're going to stick him behind a drone controller, and he's going to blow up half of France.
He's going to win that war.
By himself.
Yeah, and he'll be annoyed. He'll be like, there, France is rubble.
Gosh, can I go back to my real games now?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to play Minecraft. Mom, I just blew up France.
Yeah.
Okay, you can have another cookie.
Yeah, am I done? Okay.
Oh, I love this one. Would you rather always have a full battery on your phone or always have a full tank of gas in your car?
Ooh, I love getting in my car and that tank says full, and you're just like, man, I don't even remember when we filled that up.
Yeah. I can charge my phone at night.
Yeah, but I need the phone.
I need the phone too.
If my car needs gas, like, we'll get gas.
Charging the phone doesn't cost money. I just
That's
spent
true.
$100 to fill up my tank on the way here today.
That's true. That's true.
And you can charge your phone in your full car of gas.
Yeah, that's
you can
true.
leave it running all day.
Leave
It's
it
always
running.
full.
Yeah, you're right. You convinced me. I'm back.
All right.
Back to gas.
All right. Two more. Would you rather have all traffic lights be green or never have to stand in any line?
I'm gonna go all traffic lights be green.
Really?
I mean, in LA, yeah, it's something I deal with. I'm never really in line.
Oof.
Are you in line a lot?
I'm not, but the lines that I am in, I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
So like the TSA line, that's out. The line to anything.
Yeah.
Disneyland, you could go to Disneyland, never have to wait in line.
Airports and Disneyland, yeah. Or like there's two amazing bagel places in LA that I'm never gonna go to because there's a line.
Yeah.
And I want to try it, but I'm not gonna wait in line.
Pink's hot dogs.
Pink's. Is Pink's good?
No.
Okay.
You'll
people
never
are
know
always
because
in
you're not going to wait in line.
Yeah, I'm not waiting in line for that shit.
What about In-N-Out? I have a theory about In-N-Out because there's always, if you're not from LA, there's a burger place called In-N-Out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that you hate.
I don't-
If you haven't heard of it, you hate it.
You hate it because you don't have it.
Yeah.
But I think there's always a line around the building because, there's 75 employees inside making fries or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's another 75 employees outside in their cars in line.
The line does move so fast that they do feel like plants.
Yeah. Because they're just...
Yeah, but it moves fast.
It does. It does. It moves faster than it should for having that many cars.
Yeah, they're really moving it. Yeah, it could be a whole marketing scheme.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's brilliant.
Why not? You got plenty of people inside.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna stick with green lights.
Okay. I'm going against you.
Although you get a lot of texts knocked out. Texts get sent at the red light.
See, I feel like if I can't be on the high ground of honking at the person in front of me if I look at my phone. I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at the back of the head in front of me with my hand on the horn. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that turns green. You're getting a honk.
I don't text when I drive, but if I'm stopped, we're catching up. But if I'm like going on the road to like the Bay or something and I'm just on the 5 all day, I'm just like, this I'll have to wait. I can't. I'm like, I don't want to die
Yeah.
because I'm going like 70. But if I'm at a red light, I'm like, all right, let's catch up on some chores.
All right.
Especially if it's a long light.
You never know until you hear the honk. That's me behind
Are you holding a long honk or is it like a beep beep?
No, you get a beep beep.
Yeah.
And if you
You're a
don't
good
look
man.
up from the beep beep, then you get a beep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I be hearing these 7 second beeps.
No.
I'm like, you should be on a list.
No, beep beep is look up.
Yeah.
Hey,
Some people hold it the whole time until you move.
Oh, I know those people.
That's insane to me.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there should be mandatory therapy.
You get a long beep if you count to 5 first.
Yeah.
If you count to 1, you get a beep beep. But if you
Beep,
count to
beep.
5, you get a beep.
Yeah.
Right? That should be fair.
Yeah. Beep. I'm okay with.
But the looker upper doesn't know how long the light's been red, so you're an asshole either way.
Yeah. I'm bouncing. My eyes are a basketball when I'm texting at the red.
Mm-hmm.
Where you going? Sometimes I get lost in thought and that thing turns green. I don't even realize.
I got friends who text through their car through their voice. They're like, send a text to Zach. Say,
yeah.
Pick up some groceries.
My car does that.
I don't want to get used to that.
Yeah.
Because what if some hoe wants to drop you a text while you're driving?
Yeah.
You haven't seen her in 5 years.
Yeah.
She's pre-wife.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's like, you up. And you're driving home from the club.
Yeah.
Your wife's in the car.
Ah.
You're dead.
God forbid that car learns to describe the images she sends you.
Right.
She's sitting on a kitchen counter, stacked, absolutely banging bod.
Or it just puts the screens are huge in cars now.
Yeah.
Just puts the selfie or the sex text.
Okay, here's what I found.
We found all of your ex-girlfriend's sexual histories. Oh my God. This one's real easy, I think. Well, maybe not. Would you rather be rich or would you rather be famous?
I'm going rich.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I am too.
Yeah,
you can buy fame.
Fame is fun, but it's nice to have no one bother you.
It is nice.
You start to see people, the more you work in this industry, and you're around a big name headliner, they don't get to even go really outside to like, if they want to watch the show, they can't just go sit out front because people are going to come up to them. Some people are so big they can't even go out. Like they can't even go out.
Yeah, but then you get to travel in other countries where people don't know who you are, and they just walk around like you're nobody.
Yeah, but if you're famous, they do. Someone does, and they're filming you from like across the restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh shit! There he is. There's Isaac Abrams. And you just are hungover, like eating eggs. Yeah.
These powdered eggs.
Everyone's talking about
the
it.
Delta Lounge.
Yeah, I see some successful writers at the Comedy Store. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then my brain also goes, exactly.
Right.
They have the sickest Porsches.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
The WGA minimum on a sitcom writer's room is $13,500 a week.
Oh, God forbid they get a gig as a showrunner, go through hell for a few months, and then are just raking it in on a successful show.
I want to be a showrunner so bad.
I don't think I'd want the tasks, but I want the paycheck.
I want the tasks.
Yeah, I bet you could handle that. I feel like that'd be your jam.
That's what I've been doing on commercials, but I only get to do it one day at a time.
Right.
It's just like, all right, you move here, you move. It's like, okay, Zach, you're going to write pages 2 through 3. I love delegation.
Yeah.
And I don't have any emotion when it comes to delegation.
Yeah.
And people.
You seem like a good communicator, too, like very efficient.
I'll take it, but
aside.
yeah, except for interpersonal relationships and building a fan base whatsoever. But as far as like a work thing,
Yeah.
I can compartmentalize.
Tasks.
We got to do 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And I can, like, I have always said this, which is hard for me in comedy, but I'm not an idea originator. I'm an idea refiner.
Ooh.
So if you're like, okay, we're on a mountain and there's a volcano and there's 3 of us, I'm like, oh shit, okay, so this person's going to do that, and then there's a boat that comes.
I can make it happen.
Yes, I can take off. But
Yeah.
if you're like, hey, give me a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yes.
What do you got?
So there's some water.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I have one last question for you, and it's how we end, and then we'll do the intro and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
What is the best meal you've ever had in your whole life?
The best meal? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a pretty easy one. I'm going to have to. Oh, man.
You could take it 2 ways.
Okay.
Best restaurant experience you've ever had, or
Yeah.
best home cooked experience you've ever had?
Yeah, so mine, either way, it's going to be restaurants. But I just had Mother Wolf a couple days ago.
Okay.
And we sat at the bar, and I had heard mixed things. People were like, it's pretty hit or miss. Like, it is good, but sometimes it's not. And I had like very reasonable expectations. We just went like, let's, we celebrate. I just found out I was paid regular. My wife just got a raise. We're like, let's go to Mother Wolf.
Oh shit! Is it here in LA?
Here in LA,
Okay.
yeah, in Hollywood. And I went to Evan Funk. He has like a place called Felix. It's like he's like a pretty known chef.
Yeah, it's an Italian spot.
Yeah. So we went in and we got a couple of pastas, a pizza to split, a couple of cocktails, and some appetizers. And boy, oh boy, halfway through we were like, I think it's the best meal I've ever had in my life.
The Felix or Mother
Wolf. I've never been to Felix. Now I want to go to Felix.
Oh yeah.
Mother Wolf was amazing, and I've heard people say it's very hit or miss. So
It's the same chef.
Same chef.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think maybe we got lucky. Maybe sometimes it is. Pasta. It's so time sensitive, and when you expand, like the good chef can only be in one place, and they got people under them that cut corners or whatever. It's hard. My favorite dish though, my last meal would be like it used to be called King of Thai Noodle House #2 in San Francisco. Okay. #1 was 2 blocks away and didn't hold a candle to #2. They clearly were not on the same page.
Are they even owned by the same people, or is it just like?
I think they might have broken away now, because now I think it's called something. #2 is called something else.
Wow.
It's called like original King of Noodle or something. But they're Penang curry with chicken.
If I was your distant cousin or someone who wasn't related to comedy at all, I'd be
Yeah.
like, you should put that in one of your skits.
Yeah. No, you'll know if you know, you know. You go to that one, and the one I love is more of a hole in the wall. But I used to live around the corner, and I'd go there on the weekends. I'd be like, can we put the 49ers game on? And they would they didn't know what I was talking about. And they would just hand me the remote. So I just I'm sitting in this restaurant with the remote to the big screen, just eating Penang curry. I mean, it's hard to not.
By yourself?
Oh yeah, sometimes with my roommate, but I could just go by myself, just stoned in the morning, just like in flip flops, and 10 a.m. game. I'm in fucking heaven. Dude.
They shouldn't have 10 a.m. games.
I love it because then it's over, and whether you won or lost, you still have a day ahead of you. It's over by 1. You can go do some stuff.
Yeah.
1 o'clock games bummed me out because the sun was up, and now it's getting to like 5 or 6. The game really ends around 4 something, and you're like, I guess we start getting dinner. Day's kind of over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not into football either way. It's just
bless you. It's so I envy people that aren't into it because it's not a healthy obsession.
Well, the guys that
it's just wings and TV and junk food and drinking.
Well, I lived at the beach in Playa, and then the guys who live on the beach that are holding down the party house, they'll stay up super late Saturday night. So if there isn't a 10 a.m. game, the beach house doesn't open till like noon or 1.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'll go to the beach. They have a public bathroom, but I like using their bathroom.
Sure.
I like being outside there. Whatever.
No, I get it.
Zach, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Isaac.
Please tell everybody how we can find you on the internet.
Yeah, Zack Chapaloni on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I'm posting more stuff. It's coming at you. And we have a show called Joke Off Live. If you follow Joke Off Live on Instagram, at Joke Off Live, we have a show coming up. We're going to do a collab with Don't Tell Comedy. And we're at the Hollywood Improv, and we got one coming up next month at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room. It's a fun comedy competition show, audience participation, shout a topic. We give them 10 minutes to write as much material as they can about that topic, and we declare a winner. So it's a fun little competition. It's kind of like Chopped.
Okay.
But
Chop for jokes.
But for jokes.
Chopping it up.
Yeah.
Nice. When is the show at the Improv?
The 27th.
Okay.
Shit, I should know this.
Today is I don't know what today is.
Today's the 16th. It is, 27th at the Hollywood Improv.
This probably came out that same day or the day after.
Okay, cool. And if it came out on the 26th, Don't Tell Comedy. We're doing one with them on the 26th. That's going to be out on the west side somewhere. You're not supposed to tell. You just go to Don't Tell Comedy.
Right. And then they tell you the address the day of?
Yeah, they kind of let you in on the secret. It's like speakeasies.
For comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the password? And you're like, the guy in front of me in line just said the password. Do you want me to repeat it? And I'm like, yeah.
Dude, so I used to go to these industry screeners.
Yeah.
Like they'd play movies before the movie comes out.
Yeah.
And you write the review. It's the when it hasn't come out yet, you write the reviews or whatever. You're not supposed to be able to work in the industry, the film business whatsoever. They just want regular people.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about this.
So it'd be free, but you had to know and you had to get invited.
Yeah.
And my buddy's like, don't say anything about working on set. Don't say, and we're in line for 2 hours. We get 3 people from the front. And I'm like, so last week at work, we were shooting this thing for Tide. And the guy hears me. He's like, "Oh, shooting. What were you shooting?" I was like, "This thing for Tide." And my buddy was like, "Oh, great." And he's like, "Your whole party has to leave." I was with 8 people.
Oh no!
And it was a film they all wanted to see, and I didn't give a fuck about it. We all just got
They're like
kicked
shooting. Oh, I meant shooting my gun
out. Yeah.
at Tide Pods.
I ruined it. I
That
ruined it for everybody.
sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. That's so funny.
I can feel the same embarrassment pouring over myself.
Yeah.
Right now.
You're just like, it's like doing the mics in Hollywood talking about your famous encounters where you're like, I just couldn't get my goddamn mouth shut about knowing The Rock.
I know The Rock, goddammit.
They drag you off.
That works in San Diego, you motherfuckers. Zach, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, Isaac. This is a blast.
Absolutely. I hope you come back sometime soon.
Love to.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and check out another episode or two. Now we got video on Spotify, and we'll see you next time, motherfuckers.